$70. That's what it costs to cross Pennsylvania in a Class C RV. One trip across the state. And this is what Pennsylvania did to my waistline. 10 pounds in 8 weeks, folks. I thought the toll was going to be my biggest expense in Pennsylvania. I was wrong. Very, very wrong. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why that $70 toll was actually a bargain compared to what this trip really cost me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Making My Own Lane. I'm Nancy, solo RVing across the USA in my 2005 Class C. Today I'm doing something different. Instead of just showing you where I went, I'm breaking down the surprising costs of 8 weeks in Ohio and Pennsylvania as a solo RVer over 60. The expenses I didn't see coming, financial and caloric. If you're planning on visiting Pennsylvania in your RV, or if you've ever had to make that brutal choice between saving time and saving money on the road, this one's for you. I was in West Virginia on my way to Hershey, Pennsylvania. I was going to spend time with family and stay with my father for a week or so my sister could take a trip to Arizona. But first, I have to get there. And anyone who's looked at a map knows the Pennsylvania Turnpike cuts right through the middle of the state. Fastest route, but expensive. Really expensive in an RV. The day I needed to drive was absolute garbage weather. Foggy, rainy, hail, white knuckling it at only 55 miles per hour weather. I had two choices. Let me break down what I was calculating. Pennsylvania Turnpike, tolls unknown. Time, 1 day, 6 to 7 hours of driving. Overnight stays, 0. Stress in bad weather, moderate. It's a major highway and hopefully well maintained. The secondary route, tolls, minimal or none. Time, 8 to 9 hours, probably split between 2 days. Extra fuel, possibly $30 to $40 more with longer routes. Campgrounds for one night, $35 to $50. Setup and breakdown in the rain, miserable. Stress in bad weather, high. With 2-lane roads, small towns, and backcountry roads that may be more challenging to drive on. As a solo RVer over 60, I also had to think about fatigue. 1 hard day versus 2 moderate days in terrible weather by myself. My decision, I chose the Turnpike. I figured, how bad could it be? Maybe $20, $30 in tolls? The reality, $70. 70. That's what I spend on groceries for a week, or 2 tanks of gas for my Jeep. And you know what? This toll is just one line item in my 2025 travel expenses. Next week, I'm opening up my entire spreadsheet. Every mile I drove this year, every gallon of fuel, every campground stay, every toll across the country. If you think $70 is shocking, wait until you see what traveling in 2025 actually cost me. But we'll get to that next week. Would I do it again? Here's the honest truth. Yes. Probably yes. Because I made it in 1 day. I didn't pay for a campground in the rain. I didn't have to set up and break down in terrible conditions. I got to Hershey tired, but there. Was it a budget hit? Absolutely. But it was also a time save and an energy save. And when you're traveling solo at my age, sometimes that matters more than the money. If you're planning to cross Pennsylvania in an RV, budget for it. Don't be like me, assuming it will be reasonable. Look up the toll calculator on the PA Turnpike website before you go and factor it into your planning, because that $70 can really throw you off if you're not expecting it. That $70 toll, that was nothing compared to what happened next. I survived the Turnpike toll, made it to Pennsylvania, and that's when things got dangerous for my waistline. Here's what happened. I went from traveling through warmer states to Pennsylvania in the fall. Beautiful changing leaves, crisp, cool air, and something just switched in my brain. Cold weather equals comfort food. Cool mornings equal big breakfasts. Cozy evenings equal hearty dinners. And Pennsylvania was ready for me. I spent my first few weeks at the Thousand Trails campground in Hershey, just getting oriented to the area and visiting with some cousins and friends. And I started noticing the food, local restaurants, farm stands. I knew Pennsylvania had good food. I didn't realize how good. First, there's this Pennsylvania Dutch buffet, Shady Maple. Maybe you've heard of it. This place was dangerous. We're talking rooms of food, multiple kinds of meats, fresh baked breads, so many different salads, real mashed potatoes, and desserts that should be illegal. The price was reasonable. All you can eat. The quality was incredible, and I may have gone back for seconds and thirds and fourths. I'm not proud, but I'm also not sorry. Then there was this local Pennsylvania Dutch restaurant, Kaufman's Barbecue. Not touristy, not really barbecue in the Southern sense, just a place where locals eat. I ordered whatever the server recommended, and it was like being transported to someone's grandmother's kitchen. Pickled red cabbage that was sweet and tangy, and a soup and salad bar with the best real German potato salad and macaroni salad and white birch beer. I thought, okay, this is special. This is why I travel. I had no idea what was coming. After that, I moved to my sister's driveway for a month. Part of that time was helping out. I hung out with my father for a week while my sister and her husband traveled to Arizona and gave her a break from caregiving. But the rest of that month, I explored that region like a local. And that's when I really discovered Pennsylvania food culture, the butcher shops. This is where I got into real trouble because once I found the German butcher shops and specialty grocers, it was over for my budget and my waistline. Weisswurst, those delicate German veal sausages, Lahnjager, amazing dried sausage you can just grab and eat while you're driving. German bologna that tastes nothing like Oscar Mayer, fresh made meatloaf from a local butcher, and the cheeses. Local Pennsylvania cheeses, imported German cheeses, sharp cheddars that would make Wisconsin jealous. I couldn't help myself. I'd walk into those places and just start pointing. I'll take some of that, and oh, what's that? And I'll take that too. My freezer was full. I'm still working through food I bought in Pennsylvania 2 months later. I'm eating Weisswurst and Lahnjager and remembering why I gained 10 pounds. Even the local food truck had homemade Polish pierogies. I was in so much trouble. Here's something I wasn't expecting. Pennsylvania isn't just Pennsylvania Dutch food. As I explored Hershey through Allentown and Bethlehem, I discovered this incredible Italian food culture. Family-owned Italian places that have been there for generations. Places where they make their own stromboli and calzones, where the marinara sauce tastes like someone's nonna is in the back, and she probably is. These weren't chains. They weren't trying to be fancy, just real, honest, delicious Italian food. Stromboli, where the dough is made fresh that morning, pepperoni sliced thick, cheese that I'm getting hungry just talking about it. Having a month in the area meant I could explore like a local. I had time to ask around, get recommendations, find places tourists don't necessarily know about. The farm-to-table restaurants were incredible. Fresh local ingredients, menus that changed based on what was available, the kind of cooking that reminded you why eating seasonally and locally matters. Was it more expensive than cooking in my RV? Yes. Was it worth it? Also, yes. Here's the ironic thing. I was actually cooking more than usual during this time because I had all these incredible ingredients from the butcher shops and grocers. Amazing local produce, real German sausages and homemade pasta, and fresh bread. And because I was staying in my sister's driveway, I had a real kitchen available to me to do all of this great cooking. That's a real luxury when you usually have about 2 square feet of cooking and preparation space. And the cool fall weather made me want to cook. I'd wake up to a crisp morning, make a real breakfast with those German sausages, brew some coffee, and just enjoy being in Pennsylvania with a freezer full of amazing food. I wasn't eating out for every meal. I was just eating well for every meal. That's how you gain 10 pounds in 8 weeks. So after all that food and all those expenses, was it actually worth it? Beyond the food, and yes, I spent a lot of time on the food, I did actually see some things. Hershey was interesting. Very much a tourist town built around chocolate, which I love. But yes, I probably ate too much of that too. For RVers, it's pretty accessible. Campgrounds nearby, the town itself is manageable, and everything smells vaguely like chocolate, which is either wonderful or makes you crave chocolate constantly. Maybe both. Allentown and Bethlehem were more my speed. Real towns with real history, real culture, real people living their lives. The fall colors were spectacular. Downtown areas were walkable, fall festivals, and local vineyards. And the food scene, as you've heard, was outstanding. These aren't the big touristy destinations everyone talks about, but that's what made them special. I got to experience Pennsylvania like a local, not like someone checking boxes on a tourist list. Let's talk about what Pennsylvania really cost me. The toll, $70. Ouch, but we've already covered that. The campground in Hershey, that was part of my Thousand Trails membership. A month at my sister's, free. Thank you, family. The food, this is a shocker. Between the restaurants, butcher shops, grocers, Italian places, I actually spent less on restaurants and grocery stores than I usually do, like 10% less. The result, 10 pounds heavier, a freezer still full of amazing food, and memories of some of the best eating I've done on the road. Here's the interesting thing. Because I was staying at my sister's place for most of the time, I wasn't paying for campgrounds. A month of campgrounds, even at budget-friendly places, could easily run $500 to $1,000. I saved that money, which meant I could justify spending more on food and exploration. That $70 toll that seems so outrageous, it got me to a place where I could help my family, save money on camping, and discover a food culture I'm still enjoying 2 months later. And if you're over 60 and traveling solo, Pennsylvania in the fall is really special. The weather is manageable, cool, but not too cold, perfect for being outside without the summer heat. The region is RV friendly, good campgrounds, manageable distances between towns, accessible attractions. The food culture is real and reasonably priced. This isn't manufactured tourist stuff. This is genuine food traditions that have been there for generations. You can base yourself and explore. The Hershey to Allentown to Bethlehem area is compact enough that you can park somewhere and day trip. Here's something I don't talk about enough on this channel. Being a solo RVer doesn't mean you're disconnected from family responsibilities. My time in Pennsylvania was partly about helping my sister, giving her a break from caregiving for her father. Living in an RV gives you the flexibility to show up for family when they need you. You're not trying to book hotels or impose on anyone for a month. You've got your own space, your own home, but you're there. That's one of the real advantages of this lifestyle that doesn't get talked about enough. You can be mobile and be there for family. It's not one or the other. So did Pennsylvania destroy both my budget and my waistline? Absolutely. That $70 toll hurt. The 10 pounds happened. My regular food budget is about $900 for 2 months of grocery stores and restaurants, about $450 a month. In actuality, I spent $788, less than $400 a month. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. Because here's what else happened in Pennsylvania. I helped my sister when she needed it. I spent time with my father. I rediscovered a food culture that reminded me why travel matters. It's not just about seeing places, it's about experiencing them, tasting them, and understanding them. I got to live like a local for a month instead of rushing through as a tourist. Found butcher shops and bakeries and family restaurants I'll remember for years. I loaded my freezer up with food I'm still enjoying. And I learned something about route planning and budgeting. Sometimes the expensive choice is actually the smart choice when you factor in everything else. Here's a question for you. Have you been destroyed by the Pennsylvania Turnpike? Have you discovered amazing regional food that destroyed your diet? What's the most you've ever spent on tolls for your RV, and was it worth it? Drop your stories in the comments. I want to hear your Pennsylvania experiences, your toll horror stories, your food discoveries, because that's what this community is about. Sharing the real experiences of RV life, not just the Instagram perfect moments. If you're thinking about Pennsylvania, especially in the fall, I say go for it. Budget for the tolls, give yourself time to explore, don't rush through. And for the love of everything holy, find those German butcher shops. Your waistline might not thank you, but your taste buds will. If this video helped you plan your Pennsylvania trip, or if you just enjoyed hearing about my expensive mistakes, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more honest talk about solo RV life over 60, the real costs, the real decisions, the real experiences. Oh, and speaking of expensive decisions, next week I'm doing something I've been putting off. I'm opening up my spreadsheets and showing you every travel expense from 2025. How many miles I actually drove, how much I spent on fuel, every campground stay, every toll, yes, including that $70 Pennsylvania disaster. The total number might surprise you. It definitely surprised me. If you want to see the real costs of solo RV travel over 60 with no sugarcoating, just the actual numbers, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
a good day.